Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sagar.Utekar and this is day 5 of our free CKA series. In previous videos, we covered how to set up local minikube cluster, as well as we also discussed about how to install Kubernetes cluster using Kubeadm on AWS. Very important topics for your CKA exam as well as for your Kubernetes enters. In today's video, we are going to discuss again very important topic for your CKA exam, how to upgrade Kubernetes cluster using Kubeadm. So for that, we need Kubernetes cluster with a release 1.30, and we are going to upgrade that cluster to the latest release 1.31. So I want to make sure you have the right setup and to perform all these exercises. Okay. So if you have already followed the instructions to set up Kubernetes cluster using Kubeadm, you might have the latest release 1.31. But we need to have the Kubernetes cluster with a one older release, and then we will upgrade it to the latest release. For that, you can follow the same video and the guide. The only changes which we are going to need are during installing kubelet, Kubeadm, and kubectl, and while initializing our Kubernetes cluster. So let me walk you through all those steps one by one. Okay. So this is the first change we need to do. While downloading the public signing key for Kubernetes package repository, make sure you are downloading the public signing key of the release 1.30 and not 1.31. Once that is done, you need to update Kubernetes apt repository package URL into this file. So make the change. Either you can copy this command and execute. So to install, to add the appropriate Kubernetes apt repository 1.30. Okay, so this is one change. And while installing your kubelet, Kubeadm, and kubectl, you can mention the version 1.30 to be installed. The next change is while initializing your Kubeadm cluster, you need to specify the Kubernetes version 1.30.3 or any available version. Okay. So if I ask you the question, if you given the question in your CKA exam that you need to upgrade Kubernetes release or Kubernetes cluster from 1.30.3 to 1.30.4, then what will be steps you will perform? So in that case, the changes will be you need to download the public signing key for the release 1.30. That step will be same. The next thing you need to change is here also we are specifying the Kubernetes apt repository URL with 1.30. So no changes here. Okay. But while installing these components, kubelet, Kubeadm, and kubectl, you need to mention the version as 1.30.4 and not 3. And while initializing your Kubernetes cluster, you also need to specify the version 1.30.4. So that is the one change you will need. Let's talk about the second question. If I ask you to upgrade Kubernetes cluster from 1.30 to 31, so what are the changes you will need to do? That is the practical we are going to do today. Okay. Let's see how we can do the changes and how we can upgrade Kubernetes version from 1.30 to 1.31. Okay, before jumping into the cluster upgrade process, make sure you understand these basic things about the version skew policy and some of the precautions we need to take care while doing a cluster upgrade. As we know, Kubernetes versions are expressed as in the form of XYZ. X represent the major release, Y represent the minor release, and Z represent the patch releases. And Kubernetes project maintains release branches of the last 3 minor releases, which means if the latest release is 1.31, then Kubernetes project will maintain the 1.31, 30, and 29 releases. Okay. And that's the reason we need to have our Kubernetes cluster upgraded to the latest or the stable version. What is version skew policy? All these Kubernetes cluster will have the different components: Kube API server, kubelet, kube proxy, your controller manager, scheduler, and everything. So all these component needs to be compatible with each other. So for example, Kube API server is running at 1.31 release. Then you need to make sure your kubelet and kube proxy are running at 1.31, 30, 29, or 28, which means the same version with as a Kube API server, or it can be three um, releases older as well. After that, Kube Controller Manager, Kube Scheduler, and the Cloud Controller Manager can be at the same level, 1.31, or it can be one release older, 1.30. And for your kubectl specifically, the kubectl version can be one version higher, or it can be at the same level, or it can be one version older. So this is the version skew policy for if you want your Kubernetes cluster to work smoothly and without any complications, then make sure all these components are compatible and following the version skew policy. After that, whenever you are seeing a Kubernetes new release, don't immediately start upgrading your cluster. Make sure you read all those release notes, what are the new features, understand them, and then only you can start Kubernetes upgrade. Make sure you take a backup of all the resources, important resources, and the components, and you have swap disabled on your Kubernetes nodes. So let's get started with that. For disabling the swap, we know the command. So what I'll do, I'll start with accessing our Kubernetes cluster. So you can directly go to your Bastion, and from Bastion you can access your control plane and the worker nodes. So these are the three terminals. We will start from where we left. So on the all three nodes, you need to disable the swap. Just copy paste this command and it will disable the swap. Okay, great. The next thing is we need to change the package repository. As we discussed, whenever we want to upgrade Kubernetes cluster from one patch release to another patch release, or from one minor release to next minor release, we need to make sure we have the updated version URL in this of the package repository. And where it is stored? It is stored in this file, etc apt sources list.d kubernetes.list. So open this file and make sure you are adding the correct version in the URL. Okay, let's do that on all three nodes. Okay, I think I already have added the change, so I'll keep this. So this, if it is not there, then you can update the URL from 1.30 to 1.31. Okay, and save this. So this is the second step. Then you can check what is the version available for the upgrade. So first, start updating the packages. And then with this sudo apt cache medicine Kubeadm, you will see the available versions for you to upgrade. So Kubeadm latest release is 1.31.0. So this is the release you can upgrade. For example, if you want to upgrade from 1.30.0 to 1, then you will see multiple versions here. But for now, for the 31, it is only single release. Okay. So what we need to do next? So first we need to upgrade control node components, and then we will follow the process for the worker nodes as well. Let me disable my broadcast input option, and we will follow the next steps only on the control plane node. What we need to do? So we need to upgrade Kubeadm first. So for that, let's start editing this command. We need to replace the version X to the um, release where we want to upgrade Kubeadm. Okay, so let me copy this. And you know how to get the available release version. So this is the change you need to make. So we will unhold, update the Kubeadm to this release and pin the version again once the Kubeadm is installed. Okay. Let me show you how to do this from the Kubernetes documentation as well, because for your CKA exam, you need to follow the Kubernetes documentation. So you can go here on Kubernetes documentation and just search for a cluster upgrade. Okay. Hopefully it will show some relevant documentation. So you can just search with a Kubeadm upgrade and it will take you to upgrading Kubernetes Kubeadm cluster. And this is what we are also following. So what we are doing here, we change the package repository. Then we determined which version to upgrade to, sudo apt update and cache medicine Kubeadm. It gave us a version, latest versions available. And then this is the process we are following, upgrading control plane nodes. What we did, we upgraded the Kubeadm version. Then we need to verify the Kubeadm version. Okay, you will see here the Kubernetes Kubeadm version is 1.31. We can follow this process from the documentation. So you will have the understanding how to use the Kubernetes documentation during your exam. Verify the upgrade plan. Okay, so it is doing a couple of things. It is running pre-flight checks. It is checking the available versions to upgrade to, cluster version, Kubeadm version, target, and the latest version. So this is the version. It is showing that this command checks that cluster can be upgraded and fetches the versions you can upgrade to. Okay, once that is done, we can choose a version to upgrade to and run the appropriate command. For example, a sudo Kubeadm upgrade apply. So we want to upgrade it to version 3.31.0. So we will specify that version. Okay. So in this command, we just need to replace X with the version, available version. Perfect. I hope you are understanding how to use the documentation, because we can't remember all these commands, and we also need to understand how to use the documentation. Okay, so my suggestion is always read the output and see what that command did. So we ran the command Kubeadm upgrade apply v1.31.0. So we'll see here it is reading configuration from the cluster, and then uh, this is the version we selected. It performs some cluster health checks. It pulled the images required for setting up a Kubernetes cluster. Okay, and then it created new manifest for our static pods and placed those uh, static pod manifest. Then it reconfigured the RBAC rules and that's done. So you'll see here, everything is upgraded and success, the successful message, success, your cluster was upgraded to v1.31.0. Now that your control plane is upgraded, please proceed with upgrading your Kubernetes kubelets if you haven't already done so. Okay, perfect. So let's verify our kubectl get nodes command output. Oops, I think we need to execute this from as a non-root user. Okay, so still it is showing version 1.30. So we'll come back here because it is showing the version of the kubelet and not the your Kubeadm. You can verify the Kubeadm version with a Kubeadm version command, and this is the version. Perfect. So if you have manual any CNI provider plugin, make sure you also upgrade those, since we don't uh, need to right now. We already have the latest CNI provider plugin. We will not touch it. Okay. If you have multiple control plane nodes, then on those control plane nodes, you need to directly run the sudo kubeadm upgrade node command. You don't need to do all the steps which we did for the this control plane node. Okay. Once that is done, what we need to do? We need to drain the um, control plane node. Okay. And then we need to upgrade kubelet and the kubectl. I want to show what is the meaning of the drain command, and the one more command is cordon and uncordon. Okay, so the what is meaning of the draining the node? So it will prepare your node for the maintenance by marking it unschedulable and evicting the workloads. So let's run this command. Since we want to upgrade components, so it will fail because it is kubectl command, and we need to run this kubectl command as a non-root user. So let's check the kubectl get nodes output first, and you will see here our control plane is in ready state. The role is control plane. It is running with a version v1 30.3. So what we will do, we will drain this node and mark it as unschedulable. Okay, this is a node I want to drain, and let's see what happens if we don't provide the ignore daemon set option. What it's saying, unable to drain node control plane due to error, cannot delete daemon sets managed pods. And if you want to delete those daemon set managed pods or ignore those, then we need to add one more parameter called ignore daemon set. And which are those pods? As we know, kubeproxy, viewnet are the pods which starts with a daemon set. And we want to, uh, since this can't delete daemon set managed pods, we need to add one parameter to this command. You will see this error in your CKA exam as well. So make sure you are passing ignore daemon sets option. Okay, so it will not delete those parts. It will keep running at least daemon set parts on the control panel. We can verify that using kubectl git parts command -a. And these are the kube proxy and the vunit parts are still running on your control panel. Okay, let me just scrape it for the control plane. You'll see here, rest of the pods got deleted, but these pods are still running on your control plane now. Fine, perfect. So that is the use of drain command. It will mark your Kubernetes node for upgrade. So it will disable the scheduling. No new pod will get scheduled on this pod, and it will remove the running pods from this node. Since we don't want to delete the daemon set managed pods, we added one more parameter called ignore daemon sets. Perfect. So that is the use of kubectl drain command. You will see this can be a separate question during your CK exam, that you need to mark the node as unschedulable and evict all the workload running on that node. So this is a command you need to run if that is the question. Okay. The next thing is we need to upgrade kubelet and the kubectl. We will copy this command and start replacing it with a version of the kubelet and kubectl we want to upgrade. So let me get the available version. I can get the available version with this. So you need to make sure you are using the same version for your kubelet and kubectl, and then you can start replacing it with the same version. Okay. So I am going to remove this version and replace with the available 1.31 version. Perfect. So it is installing kubelet as well as kubectl to the latest version 1.31.0. Operation is completed. Now we can restart the kubelet. Okay. So if you see here, kubectl gate nodes, it will take some time to restart all the spots. Okay. And the version of the kubelet is also updated to 1.31. But here for the control plane, it is showing status as ready with scheduling disabled. So how to remove this? Because we want to schedule the pods on the control plane node as well. Some of the Kubernetes related parts, right? So for that, you need to run one more command, kubectl uncordon, and the node which you want to uncordon, which means you are setting this node for pod to get scheduled. So if anybody asks you the question how to disable the scheduling on the pod, then you can use the kubectl drain command, which will disable the scheduling as well as it will remove the workload from that node. If it is only disabling this scheduling, then you can use the one more command called cordon. So I have put that expression here. Drain, what drain command does, it will gracefully terminate all the parts and reschedule all the parts on other nodes. Okay, which means it will also do the operation of the cordon. And what cordon does, it un it sets your Kubernetes node as an unscheduled level, which means no new parts will not be scheduled, but as drain command does, it will not terminate the existing running parts. And the third command is uncordon, where the new pod will schedule and previously terminated or the move pods will not be scheduled automatically here. So we are removing the status of the Kubernetes node, unschedulable status, and now new pods will get scheduled on this node. Okay, this is the thing which you need to understand. Okay, next, I think we completed till here for our control plane. We upgraded kubelet and kubectl, and then we restarted kubelet. Just in case, if you see any issue with your kubelet, then you can execute this command, -ctl-xeu kubelet, and it will show you the errors. You can check the status of your kubelet with this command and make sure your kubelet is running fine. Okay, great. Now our control plane is um, ready. We can start upgrading our worker nodes. The same process, what we need to do, we can follow the Kubernetes documentation or you can follow my guide as well. So just search for Kubernetes, upgrading Kubernetes cluster. And from here, you will see there are two links, upgrading Linux nodes and the upgrading Windows nodes. So you can click on the upgrading Linux nodes because we have the Ubuntu machine. And this is the same guide which we are going to do. So first change the package repository. So you need to update this file. Okay. Update this file and make sure you have the right version of the package release 1.31. So this is the version where we want to upgrade our Kubernetes cluster. So this is correct. We don't need to do anything here. Then save the file, exit from that, and then you can verify which is the version of the Kubeadm you want to upgrade to. Let me upgrade my first worker node, and then we can upgrade our second worker node as well. So similar process, this is the version of the Kubeadm is available for upgrade. We can start upgrading a Kubeadm. We just need to change the version of the Kubeadm on this node. These are the same commands available in your documentation. So this is what we did. We changed the package repository. Then we are following the process of upgrading our worker nodes. First, we need to upgrade our Kubeadm. Then we need to run the command sudo kubeadm upgrade node. Okay. Yeah. So you will see here that it has run some pre-flight checks and then backing up kubelet config file, writing kubelet config file, and couple of things. So, and it is saying now you should go ahead and upgrade the kubelet package using your package manager. So this is done. The next thing is you need to drain this node. uh, you know what is the training of the node, right? We are going to mark this node as unschedulable, and we are going to evict the workload which is running on the worker node 1. So all the pods which are running on this node will get scheduled on some other available pods, available nodes. So we can just run this command. So I want to show you the one error which you might face in your CK exam when you do. So kubectl drain worker node 1, and as we know, we want to ignore the daemon sets. So we will add that parameter as well. Okay, it's saying that couldn't get current server API group, and the connection to the server localhost, it was refused. Did you specify the right host or port? So what we do you remember when we talked about the Kubernetes architecture? Whenever we connect or run any command with the kubectl, it is going to reach out to the kube API server. And this is what happening. Since we don't have the valid kube config file here, it is giving us a error. So this command, kubectl drain command, you need to run from your control plane or any node where you have the valid kube config file. So for example, for this demo, we are going to run it from our control plane node. And it is started. It has cordoned your node and it has started evicting the parts. Okay. We can verify the kubectl get nodes command output. And now our control plane is ready. Worker node 1 is ready, but the scheduling has been disabled here. And worker node 2 is in ready state. Okay, perfect. What they're saying, once you drain the node from Um, okay, this is the very important note here. This is what we discuss now. Execute this command on a control plane node and replace the node to drain with the name of your node you are draining. Okay, once that is done, we can start upgrading our kubelet and kubectl. Since we want to upgrade these components on our worker node, so we need to run this command on our worker node. So just replace the version in this command to the version where you want to upgrade these components. Perfect. This is what we are going to do. And then we will restart the kubelet. Okay, done. Then we will restart the kubelet on our worker node where we just now upgraded our kubelet and kubectl. Once that is done, again, don't make the same mistake. All these kubectl commands you need to run from the control plane node. The node is already given here. Execute this command on a control plane node where you have the valid kubeconfig file. So we need to mark our worker node now to schedule the parts. Okay. So just kubectl uncordon worker node 1, and this will put our worker node into ready state and remove the scheduling disable flag. Perfect. Now we have upgraded two nodes, one control plane and the worker node 1. You can follow the same process on worker node 2. So let's get back to the official documentation again from the start. What we need to do, we need to change the package repository. And how to change the package repository? You can follow this documentation and all the instructions are given here. So we already done this. We change the package repository path in this file, right? We want to upgrade this node to 1.31. So that's why we have added that version. The next thing is we need to upgrade Kubeadm. Okay. So for that, just get the available version. Similar process what we did on worker node 1, we need to do the same exercise here as well. So this is the version we want to upgrade. So you can go back and just change the version in this command. It is going to upgrade our Kubeadm component. Then we need to run this command sudo kubeadm upgrade node. This needs to be run on our worker node. Perfect. Next thing is we need to drain the worker node 2 so that it will be disabled for scheduling any new workload, as well as we are going to remove the currently running workload from this node. So let me drain this node with a kubectl drain command, the node name and the ignore daemon sets. So it is going to drain this worker node 2. Once that is done, we can start upgrading our kubectl and kubelet components. And I'll replace the version. Sorry. Replace the version of kubelet and the kubectl in this command. Let me copy this again. So we just need to replace the version of kubelet and kubectl. Make sure nothing else you're replacing. Okay. Once that is done, we need to restart the kubelet on our worker node 2. Okay. And uncordon the node. So bring back the node back online by marking it as schedulable. Similar process what we did for worker node 1. So we are going to uncordon this node. Again, very important questions for your Kubernetes interview. What is the difference between draining, then cordon and uncordon node? Okay. Now you can see here that if I do the kubectl gate nodes, all components of the Kubernetes are running with this latest release 1.31. And sometimes in the exam as well, they will ask that you only need to upgrade the control plane node. So make sure you don't go ahead and upgrade the worker nodes as well, because we don't know what are the checks they are doing. So just read the questions carefully and upgrade the Kubernetes version to the asked version only. So if they asked you to upgrade from 1.30 to 31, update the package repository path as we discussed here, changing the package repository URL path. And then if they ask you to upgrade from one patch release to next patch release, then don't make any changes in your Kubeadm and the kubelet kubectl command. You need to specify those release. This is a very important command, apt cache medicine Kubeadm, which will give you the available versions. So make sure you are following the documentation, and before going for your exam, you are doing these practical and so on as well. So I think that is what I wanted to explain in this video. All the common mistakes which you can do during your CK exam, and some of the important questions as well. Okay. So as we discussed, installing your Kubernetes cluster, that is very good project. You can automate that using shell script, or you can use Jenkins, Terraform for creating your Kubernetes cluster using Kubeadm. And then you can also create a project around how to upgrade Kubernetes cluster time to time. And yeah, so just follow this process manually. You will find out the pain points of the DevOps and SRE engineers, and you can come up with a brilliant project. Okay. I hope this video will help you to clear your CK exam. This is again, I'm saying that this is very important question for your CK exam. So make sure you follow this video till the end and perform this exercise on your own Kubernetes cluster. Okay, that's it for now. I'm really thankful for all the support I'm getting for this free CK series. I'm looking forward to see you in the next video as well. Thank you very much. Bye bye.